Back when I was a kid, the Super Nintendo was the cool video game around. A few friends had an N64, but really the SNES was what I had the most contact with. One day, at a friend's place, I saw a game that would change my world. That game was Mega Man X2. It just clicked so well with me. The gameplay, the visuals, the music. It was love at first sight. As soon as I got home, I played it on my own, and before I knew it, I was playing many other games in the series, browsing through Mega Man forums, looking at Mega Man drawings on DeviantArt. Anyway, as you might already figure, I love the X series. The Zero series? Even more. ZX? Well, I only got to play that when I got a bit older, but I love it to bits too. So, what about the one that started it all? The Classic series? No, not that one. Well, call me a fake Mega Man fan, but I never cared much about the Classic series. To be fair, when I really got into Mega Man, I was, well, a kid. And like most kids, I would look at his older 8-bit graphics and think, oh my god, this is so ugly and old. Well, yeah, even though I was a SNES kid. Go figure. Luckily, we grow and mature in life. And nowadays, I have a big appreciation for the simple and charming aesthetic of 8-bit games. So I thought, it's about time I check out the first entries that paved the road for this massive series I like so much. My plan then is to play the first 6 games, as you already know from the title. The reason why is because those games were released in a more sequential manner and followed the same gameplay principles from what I gather. I really want to see the changes from game to game and see how the series took shape with each new iteration. Well, I know that 9 and 10 and maybe 11 aimed to grasp the feel of these first 6 games, but since they were made by different teams and much further ahead in time, I'll leave them for another opportunity. The goal here is to see what happened to the series in the period of time between 1987 and 1993. So grab your pea shooters and let's get rocking. So it all starts with the first game. There's a title screen. It's very simple, there's no music even. And we're thrown straight into the stage selection, huh? I'm used to the little prologues and intro stages in Mega Man games, but here we go straight to the point. Another interesting thing to note is that the first game only has 6 main bosses, against the usual 8 from pretty much all games that came after. We even have a score system for some reason. Capcom did have a major focus on arcade games back then, so I suppose this kinda carried over. This game doesn't have a ranking system though, so it feels kinda pointless. Still, I could totally see this game on an arcade machine. The controls are simple, levels are short, and difficulty comes from mastering the layout, so you can beat them all the way without running out of lives. When I say the controls are simple, I really mean it. The first game only has shooting and jumping. I thought you could at least slide in this one, but it seems not. No charge shot either, of course. The variety you get on the gameplay side will be the special weapons you acquire from the bosses you defeat. And right in there lies the most remarkable aspect of the Mega Man series. Well, the first game doesn't outright tell you, but after you defeat each boss, you gain the ability to use their attacks. With them, you can interact with enemies and stage elements in unique ways. I really dig this idea. Elecman's power is probably the most useful of them all. Not only it deals a lot of damage, it also travels vertically, so it allows you to deal with pesky enemies which your default attack wouldn't be able to easily hit otherwise. Iceman's power can freeze enemies and even certain stage elements. It's very handy to allow you to skip through some very annoying enemies. Gutsman's can grab these huge rock chunks that appear sometimes in stages, and in fact you need it to get another power-up item that is required to beat the game. Some powers seem kinda useless though, like Bombman's. I didn't manage to find much use for it, since it takes so long to blow up. Oh, but perhaps the most famous property of those special weapons is how each of them is effective against each of the bosses. They're commonly called rock, paper, scissors. If you want to have an easier time, you can look up online which beats which, so you can play stages in an order that makes everything smoother for you. For all games in this analysis though, I'll be playing blind and beating each boss for the first time with the Buster only. So anyway, there is a pretty cool consequence of this design. There are many unique ways to play through the game. Not only you can pick which stages to play in any order you want, but also your experience through each following stage will change depending on which power-ups you got. Even though this is the first game in the series, I believe it laid a concept with huge potential, and nailed it very well already for the first attempt. The first game does have some rough spots though. Most stages are rather easy in my opinion, and some are much harder than the rest. Iceman stage takes the cake for the hardest one. The disappearing platform sections can take a while to get used to the patterns, and oh god, this section here right before the end. There are platform enemies you can get on, and they move up and down completely randomly. So sometimes you get awful luck with how they line up. Plus, eventually enemies start spawning from the right side of the screen, and the height they spawn is also random, so pray you don't get too unlucky with a tricky pattern.
2 seconds later.
No. No! And sometimes you land in these enemies in a glitchy way and they hit you from below somehow and oh god, okay, that's enough. Despite there being a few strange difficulty spikes here and there, the stages are very fun to play. Each stage has unique mechanics and enemies which are reused in a healthy amount. Once you get more and more power-ups, you start breezing through stages. Or maybe just play them in a weird order, I don't know. This variability in the game experience means you can have a difficulty curve that goes all over the place. And personally, I think this is fine. If you want a more ordinary experience, you can just look up a guide or something. Just please don't start with Elecman stage. The stage itself is one of the hardest, but it's doable. The boss fight is where even God starts praying. It is an absolute pain in the ass to kill him with only the default weapon, and if you lose all lives, have fun playing through the whole stage again, only to likely run out of lives on the boss again. Interestingly enough, it's the easiest boss to defeat if you use the weapon it's weak against. My hunch however is that this discrepancy was totally intended. After you beat all bosses, you have a set of 4 final stages as you make your way towards the villainous Ductile Island. Those stages usually feature some reused elements from previous stages and, of course, a staple of the series, the boss rush, where you must fight all bosses again. But since by now you have all power-ups, it's all mostly a matter of remembering which power-up to use on each boss. Each of these stages have new unique bosses too, and my favorite out of them is the Yellow Devil. And no, I did not cheese it. So there we go. Mega Man 1 may be a little rough, especially in regards to difficulty balance. But overall, I gotta say I really like it. I see a lot of people talking online how Mega Man 2 is one of the best, so I'm very curious to see how they improved so much on the formula. This was the game that made the series blow up in popularity, and right from the start I'm already impressed. We have a short yet very stylish intro for the game, and then drops the most iconic Mega Man tune. It is quite a memorable sequence. Look at the stage select screen too. You got face shots of all the bosses, which is an improvement over just showing the default sprites in the previous game. This game leaves a better impression with its presentation. And finally you get notified when you get a new power-up after beating a boss too. Mega Man 2 feels like a proper expansion of the first game. Instead of 6 robot masses, we now have 8 of them. I think this is just the right amount of them. And apart from the special weapons you get from them, you also have the so-called items. Yeah, they're just named items. They are all, in a way or another, platforming tools that make maneuvering through stages much easier. At first I thought you unlocked those items depending on the number of stages you have beaten. That's because by sheer luck, the first stage I beat was the one that gave you item 1. There's 3 of them, by the way. And I only got another one much later, which was item 3. So I was like, okay, where is item 2? Unlocking items, turns out, works in a very simple way. You get each one by beating a specific stage. You get item 1 by beating Heatman stage, item 2 by defeating Airman, and item 3 by beating Flashman. They really should have come with better names for those things. The items are really fun to use. My personal favorite is item 1 because it's very versatile, allowing you to reach high places and sometimes dodging annoying enemies. You'd think I got it so early in my playthrough. Item 2 allows you to reach great horizontal lengths. And it would have been extremely handy for one specific section in Heatman stage, in which you have this very long and annoying set of disappearing blocks. I didn't have it, so I spent a damn long time on it. Oh, the wonders of playing an old game blind. Personally, I still think unlocking items would have been more interesting if you got them depending on the number of stages you beat, as I thought it was at first. Something like beating 2 stages gets you item 1, 4 gets you item 2, and 6 gets you the last one. It could be an interesting variation on the progression system of the game. Anyway, items are not the only addition to your arsenal. You also got the famous E-tanks now. They are usually in tricky places to reach, and you can stock up to 4 of them. You can use them from the pause menu, and they will restore all of your life. Pretty handy. You can use them to allow yourself to power through a boss you're having trouble with. But getting your hands on a lot of them ain't that easy, so I think it's a good balanced addition to the game. I said this game is a proper expansion to the first, and I really mean it. Not only do we have 2 more stages for the Robot Masters, the final stages of the game are also more developed. Back in 1, we had 4 final stages. Here we have 6. I especially like the bosses on them. My only gripe with the final stages is how very often the last checkpoints leave you quite far from the boss, and how in many situations you need to use a specific special weapon to progress, but there is no easy way to replenish their energy if you run out of it. All this amounts to a fair deal of backtracking and annoyance. In the previous game, the boss rush came at a predetermined order. Here you can freely choose the order you can take them on, allowing for strategies to be employed. Mine was to take care of the hardest ones first, and if I was too low on health, I'd go for an easier one, since they all drop big health pickups on defeat. The final boss is interesting, because only one weapon can damage it at all, the bubble, and it's a bit tricky to land a hit with it while dodging the incoming attacks. However, the main stages have pretty good quality overall. A peculiar one is Quickman stage, which goes by very quickly, but despite that it's one of the hardest. You gotta be quick on your moves or you're gonna be dead before you know it. But let's talk about the power-ups. I like how they were handled this time around. I feel like I got a decent usage out of almost all of them. Heat is pretty good for one-shotting some big enemies once you charge it up. Bubble is handy to reach enemies below you and deals a fair amount of damage. Metal has that good directional versatility, Crash allows you to blow up some walls and access shortcuts or extra goodies, and Air is quite good for taking down enemies above you. One really cool moment was when I got to this spot at one of the final stages where some platforms are fake, but you cannot tell which ones since they all look the same. Not knowing where to step can even drop you into spikes. So what did I do? I thought of using Bubble, because it runs through the ground, and by seeing where it fell, I could figure out which ones were fake. It felt like a spontaneous eureka moment. So yeah, I gotta say Mega Man 2 did a very good job as a sequel. We got more special weapons, new power-ups and items to play with, and a longer campaign that was just the right amount of more length to the game. We also got a quality boost on the visuals. I especially like those big cartoony enemies. They're very expressive and pretty to look at. So the first game was a fun and promising start, and the sequel polished things up in a solid package. I can totally see why Mega Man 2 is regarded as such a classic. It did mark a huge success for the franchise, and guaranteed many other games and sub-series for decades to come. Oh boy, there's sure a lot of Mega Man games, we can all agree on that. However, even if we think only about the classic series, we have a very promising future ahead just from those first 2 entries. From here on, I imagine all the following sequels would need is extra polishing in a few key spots, and some interesting additions to freshen things up. The base formula is already set. There are yet 4 games to go on the NES, so I can only imagine what will be of them. I wanna see cool new power-ups, new items, and whatever fresh ideas the Mega Man team have come up with. The last thing I want to see is the series getting stale, but even if it does happen, the gameplay is so good that I bet it's still gonna be somewhat fun. Let's hope for the best though. Well, we're leaving it here for now. In the next episode, we'll see the 3rd and 4th game, and I hope you look forward to it. If you enjoyed this video, you can let us know what you liked about it, and anything you think that could be better too. That's all for now. Until next time, and take care.